Day 148. Rather pleasant night. I'm laundered, I'm showered, all my batteries are charged. It's a pretty nice campground for $10. Not bad at all. So I'm headed over to the all-you-can-eat breakfast. Kick it there for a little while, wait for them to open. It doesn't open till 6:30. Campgrounds though, man. 2 car alarms went off. At least 100 doors slammed. People have their alarm set on their phones. I can hear them ringing from around the way in the specific alarm noise. What else sets an alarm out here? Especially an audible one. Who sets their car alarm around here? What are you worried about? This isn't New York. Nobody's stealing your car out here. But yet 2 separate car alarms, because they came from different directions, went off. I can only imagine how I would react if I got woken up to a car alarm right next to me. I would have to go over and have a chat with the owner and explain to him how dumb they are, very loudly. It makes me feel better. I don't need to get violent. I just like to get vocal, get stuff off my chest. Makes you feel stupid. I feel good about myself because I berated you. And we can carry on. Although it turns out that just berating people is considered assault nowadays. So, very soft world we live in. He yelled at me and hurt my feelings. Yeah, unfortunately that is illegal nowadays. Everybody's feelings matter. That was a longer walk than I remember. Yesterday, when I was videotaping that thingy, I ran into a hiker. I don't remember what his name is. Very, very French. Him and his old lady. Really cool guy. He was just walking by. I was chatting with the other hikers. And I wasn't really jiving with those other hikers really well. The typical hikers. But, I just didn't feel that we were jiving. Actually, they were kind of getting on my nerves. One of them was very bear aware, and I'm not. And it was upsetting him that I'm not. Do you, boo? Do you? But French dude walks by, and he's like, chatting with us, and he walks away, and he comes back, and he's like, oh, were you smoking marijuana? I was like, yeah, dude. And he's like, you got any extra? I was like, no, I don't. But since it was gifted to me, I'll break off what I got and gift it to you, because it was gifted to the guy before. It's just nice that it keeps going down the way. He was really excited about that. I'm glad I could make somebody's day, but it was gifted to me, so how could I very well tell you no? And I wanted to spend a little time around that guy and chat with him, because I typically don't like French people. So I wanted to hang out with one and enjoy his company. He has a few problems with words and whatnot, but fuck, those guys know how many languages. I mean, it's impressive. If you're from Europe and you know less than 3 languages, that makes you as dumb as an American. We barely know 1 language, but in Europe you got to know at least 3 or you can't get around. But it's cool hanging out with him for a few hours. He happened to be going down to do his laundry and stuff at the same time, carrying a fishing pole. He said he was going to fish along the way and catch me a trout, but I was like, don't bother, man. I got nothing to scale it with, nothing to gut it with, nothing to cook it with. I was like, that'd be a waste. But he was able to identify the creature that I was filming yesterday. And it's in the Wolverine family, because I was like, I think maybe it was a Wolverine, but it didn't quite look like what I imagined a Wolverine looked like. And he's a hunter and a trapper, telling me all the sweet meats, calls them flesh. He's like, oh, eating fish flesh. And when you say flesh, I think skin. But he means meat when he says it. But he was like, oh yeah, I've killed wolverines, accidentally trapped in one. He's like, you can't eat their meat. Nothing eats their meat. Their skin is really nice. Or for that, he calls it leather. He's just like, no, I don't eat their flesh. He's telling me beaver is the sweetest meat he's ever eaten. I'm like, I've eaten a few beavers in my time, but not the kind you're talking about. Oh, bridges are a godsend. I mean, it doesn't seem like much to anybody else. But, just walking down that little thing and back up the other side would be, a few minutes of humping. Another little hill. The next one's huge. The little bridge shaves off like 10 minutes of time. I often wish for a bridge when I was out there in the woods, when you're on one peak and you're going to the next one and you got to go down to that ravine. I'm like, oh, what I would give for a bridge right now. let's go get ourselves some breakfast. Safety is paramount in the woods when you're headed to an all-you-can-eat breakfast. A little wake and bake. It's great how it affects you so much in the morning. It is literally my favorite time. Sweet smells of nature. No, that's diesel fuel. That's okay. I like the smell of diesel as well. Man, I still got a long ways to go. I can't even see the buildings. Walking. Since there's only 4 buildings in town, this kind of has to be it. It looks a little fancier than the kind of place I can afford. But the all-you-can-eat breakfast, I think, is $16 plus tax, because I'm in a state that charges tax again. I'm curious how these things work. You know, this is on our public land and it's making money. Do they have to give a kickback back to the public lands? Or do they just get to keep all the profits? How does that work? When you get big places like this charging as much as they charge for food, I mean, they should have to pay for trail maintenance or something. That's just me. It's public lands and you're making money off of it. Good morning. It's pretty nice. I have my own corner over here. Well, not my own. She works here though, so she doesn't count. This is my corner now. I keep thinking about going over to the windows here and just pretending like I'm filming out, maybe even really film out, and just make oohing and ahhing noises and bounce up and down like I'm really excited to see how many people I can draw out of the window. Better get half the room. Just keep pointing. Oh, you know, people. They're fun sometimes. I felt as though I did not have enough food in my bag. And I'm an opportunistic predator. So I nicked myself some biscuits, some potatoes, some bacon, and some eggs. No, I don't want to do that, you know, but I feel forced by these places and their prices. Who can afford to buy, and it's a gas station we're getting shit from, so it's not like they have stuff. So if I want to survive comfortably, it's not like I would die, I need to do this kind of stuff. I don't want to. My hands are forced. I just slept in the woods last night for free, but you know, they made it available and easy. But had not, my hands would have been forced. I only do what I have to do to survive. I'm waiting for the guys to finish up their food. They got set directly in the center. I was in the corner. It was really nice. And the lady, I told her that 2 more were coming, kind of described them. And she seemed all flustered and busy and such. Kept saying, I'm the only one here. I'm the only one here. You know, yeah, she did seem a little stressed out. And she said, I always sit hikers in here because you can put your backpacks against the wall. And there was a great space against the wall. So I sat there. It was awesome. And then they sat those 2 right in the center of everybody. So I was like, well, man, you don't always sit hikers over here. And I described them to you until they'd be coming. It was like maybe 5 minutes. Whatever. Whew. Anyway, kick it here, relax, wait for the guys, man. I'm in no hurry. We only have 25 miles to do today. So we got our breakfast. We got our water bottles filled. Trying to head back to the trail. But there's a turn, and when you're hitching, if you have to take a turn, that makes it infinitely harder. So we're getting to the turn up here. I think it's like a 0.7 away is what Count said. And then we're trying to hitch along the way, just in case. I'm not bothering, but I'm not a girl. We got a girl in the group. She could throw her thumb out. Possibility it will get picked up. But if not, we get down the other road and stand there for however long it takes. Did happen to catch a ride to the main drag. This guy right here got us. Now just another one a few miles down, and we're back on trail. Oh, nice couple on a Jeep stopped to pick us up. They actually turned around and came back the other way to get us. Lucky was suggesting that it's somehow me that we're not getting rides, because when I'm not around, she just throws out her thumb. People come to an instant stop. Sometimes serve them dinner. That's what happened the other night. But when I'm around, it takes forever. Why? Fortunately for me, the 2 times I've needed to deuce today, there's been accommodations. I'm really light right now. Somebody's like, I don't know. I think that's so you can strap a GoPro to your head. Let's cruise. We have like 23 miles or something, give or take, before we're out of the park, so that is the goal. Heart Lake, 7.4 miles. There we go. Fortunately, I caught up to the guys. I was pretty sure I was on the right trail, but my gut hooks is not working. I opened it up, it still thinks I'm in that town. I let it go for like 2% of my phone battery. I watched it tick down, just wait for that thing to update. Closed it out, opened it up again. Nada. Maybe it'll work later. But I at least wanted confirmation that I was on the right trail.
Big owl.
Biggest owl I've ever seen outside of a zoo. He flew by us, perched up there, and then just flew away. Come up over the hill to some bubbling crude. Water. Did not expect it. I wonder if there are more of them. Evidently, there was a dead bison out in one of these earlier, a couple days ago, and I didn't notice it. These guys did, but I was probably looking at a hole and not off in the distance. I missed a whole dead bison. Unfortunate. Took a little break. Had some second breakfast. Curious about that pink one. Does it shoot out debris every once in a while? Is that how it's building up the cone? Or is that just the gases mixing with dust and settling? I don't know. I'm no volcanologist. First thing of a view we've gotten. You still see there's still vents out there. None in the direction we're headed right now, and I don't know which side of the lake we go by. But those things could be anywhere. It smells sulfurous around here, even to my senses. This river is hot. You can see steam coming off of it and stuff. I want to touch it just to see how hot she is. Oh, that was hot enough to make coffee with. Yeah, that is pretty damn hot water. Oh yeah, I'll give it like 102. Bubbling puddles. Well, if the other one was at least 100 degrees and not steaming, and these ones are steaming, leads me to believe they're very, very hot. Few little steaming pools. You see one way off in the distance that looks decently powerful. This is going to be that warm river again. I think this is where I walked through it last time I came through. Or maybe there's another warm river that I walked through. This one actually feels hotter than last time, but it's been years. There's the ranger station. One of them. Oh, I do remember them doing repairs on this last time I was walking by. Fairly certain this is the one. Put new chinking in and stuff. Ducks. Nuts. Just foul. Cruisy, pleasant walking on a warm summer day. You don't get many of these out here. Tiny little breeze blowing, it's quite delightful. We're about halfway into our day, probably 11 miles or so right now. It's a little after 1 o'clock. I think we'll make it. We do have some water crossings coming up. 3 of them, I believe. I will be taking my shoes off. They are finally dry, and I intend on keeping them that way. Unless a rainstorm comes along. There's always something, possibilities. This is probably just going to feel good, Been walking all day. We have another one in, ooh, that's chilly. Another one in 1/10 of a mile. So just going to leave the flip-flops on the whole time. So that's no big deal. Ooh, hard to balance on these rocks. It does feel good, though. Yep, and here's number 2. Ah, it feels great. Whoa. They're hard to balance on. They're a little slippery and they move. And I'm wearing flip-flops. I haven't gotten my shoes yet. Definitely taking them off for this crossing. It's all the foam in the water, man. Almost. Funny enough, my one cloud is raining. I'm not sure who. Guessing you maybe? I don't know. My gut hooks is not working, has not worked all day. If I load another state and then reload Wyoming, I pop up. My dot won't move, but at least I know my general location. But that's a lot of effort just to figure out where you're at. I'm maybe 5 miles from the campsite. Hopefully it's nice and cruisy. Getting up here was the biggest hill I think I've done all day. I'm going to push for a bigger mile day tomorrow. In 30 something there's a cabin. They're not planning on making it to it because Count is staunch anti-30. But just because he is doesn't mean I shouldn't. So I'm going to wake up, do a little night crawling. It feels less like grizzly country, right? We'll see how scared I am in the morning, huh? Might do a 30-mile day, get to a cabin, sleep tight. Maybe there'll even be people there. Who knows? Shadows are getting along. Now we're less than a half mile from the camp that we were going to head to, but we just passed a group of 6 or 7 older gentlemen that are all headed there as well. So I think we'll head on, unless it's a really great campsite, head on to the next one, which is about 3 miles after it. And then that makes tomorrow getting to that other cabin all the easier. Instead of a 30-mile day, it's 27. Enhance. We're about a mile and a half from camp now. Good thing we pushed on because it was uphill a decent way, and I'd rather do it right now while it's all comfortable out. There's a chill in the air, but it's not hot and it's not cold. If I did it in the morning, you know, I'd be whining about my fingers hurting because that's part of my day. Is that Yoda? Are you a thing? You look like a thing. Are you a badger or something? An Ewok? What the hell are you? I'm gonna have to zoom in. Uh-oh. That looks like a threatening pose. But you're not very big. But you look threatening. I'd run if you came at me. I tell you would. I'm guessing you're a badger just by your face, and I don't think anything fucks with badgers. We don't need no stinking badgers. Less than a mile away. It's supposed to be a cabin with a porch. I was like, oh, I like a porch. Pit toilet, you know, all that fun stuff. Ones out here don't have walls though. So, you know, it's a poo with a view. I'm not a shad pooper, so I don't have a problem with that. I'm actually more interested, somebody said it's filled with spiders. I'm more curious about the spiders that live in it. Ooh, it's definitely getting chilly now. I don't like these shrubs. It's the shrubs that stress me out. They grow near any water around here. Have been for the past few hundred miles. But, you know, perfect size to hide anything in. A Volvo, a grizzly, anything but a giraffe. They'd stick out. Oh, I'd have definitely been freaked out going through here in the early morning. Let me do my bear call real quick. Bear call. Any bears in here? Just stay where you're at. Don't move. Don't mind me. I'm just passing through. Just don't look at me and you won't be surprised by me. Hope I don't have to take my shoes off for this crossing, but I bet I do. Ooh, it's gotten chilly in here. Bear call! I see no way across with dry feet. Somebody started a little bridge. Man. Alright, is what it is. Oh, he disappeared.
Yeah, she gone.
There's an owl up there a second ago.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what's so cool about owls. Yeah, they can just land on your head and you never hurt them.
So I've elected to cowboy camp on the porch. I stacked wood around me and stuff. I feel slightly protected. There's rodents, but, you know, I've got my food hung to protect it from them. The walk-in was kind of interesting. We got to walk across a beaver dam. I've never done that before. But the last water crossing, there was one. I was like, screw it, man. I don't feel like taking my shoes off again. So I went for it. It didn't look like it could support our weight, but it did. I was pretty shocked at that. There was rocks as well as twigs in there. I don't know if they came from a flood or something, but it seemed like beaver dam. We all thought it was. So therefore it is. Had a dinner of top ramen and the leftover eggs and potatoes from breakfast. I'd say it hit the spot, but I could still use another pound or more. But tomorrow we got a 29 or 27 again. We did 27 today. We do 27 point something tomorrow. End up at another cabin. And then after that it's 20 more miles to the car. Then we go to Lander for a night because they've got free camping. Changing our darn tufts. And then it's on to Rollins. And then I'm a Sobo. Get my ass into Colorado and tackle that as quick as possible. Not an easy feat, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I'll see you in the morning.